We are indeed recording. Alright, people, this is my turn to do a Loot Crate thing because Keo did it last month and he got his before I got mine. Like, I think about a day or so. So it's now I get mine earlier than him because for some reason FedEx decided to be really, really slow this month.
And Loot Crate didn't get the crate to Loot Crate until the 24th.
Yeah. Also, to the people that have noticed me looking like over here, I have dual monitors, so I'm looking at my other stuff over here. I have one screen that has the recording, and I have the other screen that has Google Hangouts. So obviously, we are using Google Hangouts to record this, and you're seeing my wonderful face here. And if it's inverted for you, that's Hangouts for you. I can't fix it. I've been trying to figure that one out for years. Anyway, obviously, Loot Crate. This month's theme was called Battle, and it was video game themed, which was kind of the speculation between me and Keo in the first place, considering November is the month out of the entire year where a shit ton of games come out.
Yeah.
And so Battle had four different type of games. One was Assassin's Creed, one was Mega Man, one was Street Fighter, and the fourth one was Halo. Now, I've already opened this crate, obviously. I took a peek at it because, well, Keo was originally going to do the video, and I wasn't going to do this, but he decided it was going to take too long. His is not supposed to come out like, the start of next month.
Yeah.
Like I said, FedEx kind of sucked this time around. So, I've seen everything in it, but I'm going to show you what I got. Now, the first thing isn't going to be the shirt because, well, there's two other things in front of it. The first thing, two things are codes. The first one being Lichdom Battle Mage code, which gives you 50% off. This code, if you do happen to find a magnifying lens, because I'm holding it so far back, and read the code, it's utterly useless to you because I've already used it. I haven't tried the game. Kind of looked interesting. But yeah, especially if you got it today with the whole Steam sale, you got it 70% off with the code and then what Steam had it, which is rather nice. Sucks for
Yeah.
Keo, but, you know, I blame FedEx. um, the other thing was you get a full download game of Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. Uh, it's not a bad choice. Fits within the theme, but you know, I'm not a
I'll,
fan of Street Fighter.
I'll try it. Why not,
I
though?
mean, it's a free game. I'm not complaining. It's again used. And I know Street Fighter's good and all. I just was never a fan of him. Um, I mean, the biggest thing the only player I ever played was really either Ryu or Ken. I didn't play many other characters, and I just never really liked the franchise. Not like Mortal Kombat. So yeah, I fall in that category of Mortal Kombat fanboy. So we're gonna move on to the biggest item in this, which is the shirt. Um, it is not video game themed, actually.
Really? I
Yeah.
was expecting this to be the Assassin's Creed thing.
Oh, I thought it was at first, and the way it presents itself really makes you think about that. Let me put
Okay.
this box to on the floor because that way I have some room. Because obviously it's a black shirt,
Mm,
but what it has is a yin yang symbol. Take a guess on which two they are.
My God. Pirates and ninjas.
Yes, and if you can't tell from that, I'll try to hold it closer. You can actually see there's words making up the design.
Oh, wow, that's...
So
You know...
I kind of always wanted a shirt like that because I know that Loot Crate had
Oh,
the Link one.
oh, Loot Crate.
And I was at first I looked at it, I was like, I thought is that Assassin's Creed 4 reference? What is that? Because I seen the pirate, but I couldn't tell what the other thing was right away. And then I looked at it again. I was like, wait, is that a ninja? And I couldn't tell at first. And then I verified it in the box because they straight up told me. that's the best item so far. That is until I get into the crate more. Now, as I've stated, I've already opened up things, shown everything. So we're going to start with the Mega Man item because they promised that. Now, it comes in a box about that big. And what it is it's the helmets. And there's 4 different variants you can get out of it. So it's a random shot, which is a better idea, which they should have done with Firefly when they had that. All it is just a helmet with a different color, and out of the 4 are Mega Man Blue, which is just his normal. They call it the Mega Buster helmet. Then there's the gray one, which is the Bubble Lead helmet. There is also the Mega Man Red Rush helmet, which is just when he summons out Rush, obviously. And then there's Mega Man Green Leaf Shield helmet. And it sucks because I kind of wanted the blue because I just like the blue version. It's not my favorite color, though. I actually did get my favorite color, and that is green. Comes on the stand, and it's actually got some weight to it.
Like a paperweight, then.
Well, yeah, it's similar to a paperweight, and it's got a decent enough weight, but it's still not as heavy as another item I have in here. But yeah, it's very well designed. The only problem I had with it is trying to put the stand with the helmet, because it's fucking difficult as shit. Mainly because this all is 3 pieces, and the middle stick is what you got to put in here, and it's very, very hard to push in. Like it's a snug fit to keep it centered, but it's really hard to get it connected. I don't know why. It almost like hurt my hand just trying to put it there. But yeah, it's very nice. Very, it's got a decent weight to it. Yeah. Apparently made in China, which is weird considering Mega Man's kind of Japanese.
Plastic. If it's plastic, it's usually China.
Yeah. The next item is a Mega Bloks thing. And I'm kind of glad that they used it for specifically Halo.
Halo Mega Bloks.
Yeah. And obviously I got that one. There are 4 different colors again with this one, but like 2 of them are like the Master Chief variants, and this one is the alien variant, and there's supposed to be a purple one. I got the crimson one. And it would come into like a pod like this, which is difficult as shit to open, by the way. And this is all you get. That's all it is. It's on a Lego block that has the Halo logo on it, and it's already pre-made, and it gives you that, I'm guessing, either it's the beam sword or whatever they call it, or it's a gun. I can't tell. I don't play Halo. I never really liked Halo. But yeah.
Yeah, it's Halo.
But obviously this is the cheapest of the items. It's like maybe $2. It was like the last minute throw-in. And for it to be packaged in something like this was the most retarded thing I've ever seen. Because this has no use after you open it.
It allows them to charge an extra $1 for it.
Yeah. I'm happy, though, that it's the crimson one. Just because it shows out better than the purple one. The purple one's just really dark. Came with the booklet to show you what ones that they had for this particular crate. There we go. As you can see, there's the crimson and purple aliens, and then the other side is the Master Chief variants. The blue and, I guess, gold. That's all they had, and they call it the Metallic Series, and apparently there are supposed to be instructions on how to build the damn thing, but it was already pre-built, so I don't know why it's even there. It was like, okay, thanks for wasting my time. Thank you for showing me a nice graphic, though. But, plastic. Next thing, let's see, where is that pin? Just get out of here. Pin is basically Mega Man versus Ryu. It's gonna be really hard to see, but yeah, that's all it is. really, this is a waste of time. Why put it in there?
Because every loot crate has a pin.
Yeah. Next, we're going back to Street Fighter here, which I find is interesting because
It's an nail freshener.
no. It's a headband. This is the only thing I haven't opened. It's basically Ryu's headband. I haven't opened it for the simple reason is that
I didn't realize Rio's headband said Street Fighter on it.
yeah, apparently I don't know why they did it, but yeah, it's just Ryu's headband. I'm not wearing it because, well, it's too fucking long. I've actually seen there's a picture of it in the booklet, and it's still like hanging all the way down to like half the guy's fucking
Yeah,
body.
that's like Rio likes his headbands.
Yeah,
He likes-
it's really fucking long, so I don't want to freaking have that be in my way. But yeah, that's what they gave. So I'm looking at all these so far, and the ones that they kind of cheaped out really was Halo, which I imagine that kind of pisses a lot of fanboys off because there's not everybody likes fighting games.
Well, this was a terrible year for fighting games, though.
Yeah, I know, and it's nice to know that we got Street Fighter Arcade Edition. That's great. So that makes this like a bonus in comparison. But imagine if that we didn't get that and we just got this.
I mean, have you seen what the Video Game Awards list for fighting games are? Almost all of it's just DLC.
Well, I imagine so.
Not DLC on, I think, was Smash Bros. I think Smash Bros. Was on it.
Well, I think that's gonna probably win.
Yeah, the only thing that wasn't DLC.
Okay, and now we get to probably the worst Assassin's Creed game reference. But it's probably the best item. That's the sad thing. Like, it's a reference to Assassin's Creed Unity. It comes with a velvet bag with the logo, and it's literally a fucking coin. And it's it's really decently well made. It's heavy. It's got Liberty, another French word I can't say, because I don't know French. It has Liberté, which is French for liberty. I can't say the other one, and then it has Unity at the very end. But it's literally got that in the front. And then on the back, because I guess this is the new Assassin's Creed logo. But yeah, it came in this, and it's just, that's all it was. But it is the best because it's the highest quality of all the items so far. It's nice. I kind of like it because now I have a coin that I can just flip.
Have a D2.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. And that's all the items.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. Outside of the booklet, that's it. There's also the card that tells you about the shirt with the Pirates versus Ninja thing. I don't know why they threw that in.
Probably because there's people that wouldn't understand.
Well, it says, Pirates versus Ninjas. The ancient debate of Pirates versus Ninjas stretches back through the ages of 2001. Because that was a long time ago. Where the battle was first questioned at RealUltimatePower.net. I never heard of that place. Okay. Although pirates have appeared with ninjas in a murky tributaries of time and entertainment, any origin before 2001 is hotly contested. While many people claim that this and that about who would win such a battle, this is much clearer. You're right. Everything else is wrong. Team Loot Crate. There's no point for this, by the way. There really is not. It's basically saying, which side are you? That's all.
Clearly, I'm on the pirate ninja side, where we are both, you see. Because I want the boat, but I want the sword.
Well, this is where, again, if I didn't have this as a reference, I would have said that's an Assassin's Creed thing. because of the pirate thing and the fact that a ninja is an assassin.
Yeah, in a
Um,
sense, yes.
that's where it got me for a moment there. And when I seen this, I was like, okay, so why did we have this? I understand that maybe they were just trying to make it as this is a reference. I don't get the reference and what it has to do with this crate still.
Pirates vs. Ninjas.
Yeah. We do have the booklet with this cover. It's an arcade cabinet.
Nice.
And the
It's
back.
not blinding like the last one.
Oh yeah, they didn't put 3D. That's good. Then they have these little cutouts of Mega Man and Ryu that you can have on the very back page.
Tell me this has something to do with the inside of the Loot Crate box?
I'm assuming so, and I will show you inside of it because the first thing you notice is really the top, which as you enter it, Dr. Light from Mega Man. He kind of does that. Let me get the inside of this though, because they did do some decent things here. Let's see.
Ooh, do they make it all 3D like some of the last ones?
Yeah, they kind of did, but I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do on this other end. Because they don't really, they don't make it clear. I'll say that. But yeah, it's supposed to be kind of like a fighter thing.
Street Fighter, I get it.
Yeah. And so that kind of makes sense why they did it, so they can have a little fun with the box. But I'm not gonna lie, this is the stupidest fucking thing you can do. Yeah, how long are you gonna have fun with it? To be honest,
I won't argue with that they do with the box.
I mean, I understand that it's nice to have a use with the box because you do see like the E-tanks in there and everything, and that's nice. But there is no point to make it like interactive and start having cardboard cutouts. It's nice if you want to do that for like if you're an older person and you have a kid or something like that, and that gives them some imagination. But mostly, I'm never gonna ever do that. It just isn't gonna be. Going back to that headband again. That's how long it is. It's kind of a long one. That's why I didn't want to bother opening it. Let's see here. The book really doesn't do very much. The coin is just, let's say, the Assassin's Creed 4 Unity coin with velvet pouch. Now,
wait, Assassin's Creed 4?
Yeah,
Unity?
because that they literally say that right in the book.
But I thought 4 was Black Flag.
I don't know why they did it. It says right here, only initiates of the Brotherhood and Templars would recognize this coin, which is adorned as one side of the seal of the assassins. On the opposite side, there is a space for looters to engrave their names below the logo and truly make it one of a kind, a Loot Crate exclusive. I can engrave it.
Well, Unity is Assassin's Creed 5.
Yeah,
Actually,
I know.
No. It's not even Assassin's Creed 5, because if we're just going without the numbers, they've decided that numbers only apply when they feel like it at Ubisoft, so...
Yeah, it still says, like, Assassin's Creed IV Unity coin. Apparently you can engrave it. If you have the friggin' tool to do it, go for it. I don't. It's made of fucking metal. It's actually legit. So I don't know how you're supposed to engrave it unless you have the tool.
Probably some Dremel drill or something.
Yeah, you need something really good. It says Battle Crate instructions, so it tells you how you gotta do it. Oh! So yeah, you need a pair of scissors to complete the whole fucking thing.
What?
They have instructions.
Oh, the Loot Crate box has to be cut up.
Yeah, so you can actually make it work. I'm not gonna go that far.
I'd assume not.
There's always, of course, the Mega Crate, which apparently they're going to announce on Thursday or Friday or something like that. Who won that? But just in case you guys didn't know, it is very, very Nintendo themed. Um,
Yeah.
this was kind of that crate if you really didn't have a 3DS yet or a Wii U. This is the kind of crate you want.
Like,
um,
I'd love just even one of the mini crates.
well, the mini crate is alone worth it because that gives you both systems. Plus, it gives you Smash Bros for both systems. I know that the Wii U was the World Deluxe set, which would give you two games. It gives you 3D Mario World and then I think it's Nintendo Land. And even the Mega Crate would give you that same one. It's just that, to be honest, the Mini Crate would just set you alone. That's all you need. You don't need the rest of the extra shit. But it would be nice.
It's nice to get the GameCube adapter though in the Mega Crate.
Yeah, because it doesn't actually show the Mega Adapter. I'm assuming it does come with it, but it doesn't show it.
Well, it showed it coming with GameCube controllers.
Yeah, it does, but it doesn't say anything about the
It has
adapter.
to come with the adapter.
I know! It doesn't show it, though! Nowhere in this, and including the descriptions, does it show an adapter. That is so
Oh.
weird.
Oh, that'd be really bad if they shipped it without the adapter.
That's like a fuck you to you. Okay. But everything else, it's still nice. I mean, even the GameCube controllers is very nice to have. You have a nice fucking headset from Afterglow that comes in a fucking briefcase, essentially. You get a really nice chair, and then you get all the amiibos that are currently out. And still, you get the systems with the games, and this was kind of a really good Mega Crate to get. I think it's actually one of the best I've seen. If not the best.
One that gives you a 3D printer.
Well, outside of, I think it was last month's, which is the Fear Crate, where it had a fucking computer.
Oh yeah, that was also pretty great.
Outside of that, I think this is the second best.
Yeah,
Last month's had a really good one.
that
And,
last month was insane.
well, if I remember correctly, the winner of that Mega Crate was like 13 years old.
You're
Or
good
something
for
like
him. Get him in PC gaming only.
Yeah, I mean, he got a $2,500 computer from Origin. That's
I mean,
amazing. That alone is worth it. Plus, he got like gaming glasses and a headset that was like $300 headset.
well, hopefully he doesn't need prescription glasses though.
No, I think they pay for it, even with prescription. I don't know. It was something like that. You were guaranteed it. But, yeah, that was pretty much the crate, people. Is
Not
it
bad.
better than? It's not a bad crate. It's a decent crate. I'm not saying it's bad. I honestly believe that they did the smart thing for me because I don't like Halo. That it was the lackluster item of this whole set. I know that would piss off a lot of people that do like Halo. Especially since Halo is kind of relevant right now. They've re-released like the whole collection.
Tell me when they release it on PC, then we'll talk though.
Yeah, it's one of those games where Halo is nice, but I don't want to play it on an Xbox console.
I mean, I played 2 on PC. Like, this is fun. Well, then nothing else released on PC, and I was like, well, this franchise is dead to me.
Yeah, it's one of those franchises that I just like. It's okay. It's not that great. I'm glad that they made like out of
The
all
helmet's
this.
nice.
Huh?
Helmet's nice.
Yeah, see that this is better than what they had in freaking Heroes Crate. Because the Heroes Crate gave you an air freshener, and that was a cop out.
I also gave you a bobblehead, though.
I'm not counting that. That bobblehead was the only redeeming factor of that. It was still very weak in what it did because they advertised it with Mega Man being a main centric character. Same with Sonic. and they gave us air
You got
fresheners
chance that it's either a Sonic air freshener or a Mega Man air freshener.
or a Proto Man. It was that one pissed me off. It was like you cheated us out of it. Thanks for doing that. Other than that, most of that crate was pretty decent. You got a figurine from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Couldn't say words. And you got the Groot figure, bobblehead. You got all these other nice things. That's great, but I still feel like I got cheated out of what I really wanted. Whereas this one, the helmet's really nice. And it's really hard to tell. Like, personally, I think the helmet is the one I like more than the coin, but it's really hard to choose. Because they're both about equal.
Oh, it's nice, though.
Yeah, and I mean, this is novelty. Most of this is novelty, but this is like, meh. I could care less if I had it. And if it wasn't for the fact that I got a code to the game, this could have been the worst item of the whole thing.
Yeah, but at least you get the code.
Yeah, I'm glad you got the game, because then that doesn't make this as bad. And it puts Halo in that position where it sucked the most.
Well, even if that was the only thing for Street Fighter, I'd still put Halo at the wars.
Oh yeah, I would too. But it would be very close, is what I mean. Like, this is like, okay, so anybody that was a fighter fan just got gypped out of this crate, and anybody that was a Halo fan got gypped out of the crate. That was what I would feel.
Yeah.
With the fact that it gave you the game, it balanced
outside the
out.
game that was given, I mean, the fighting feel here isn't as heavy as I would have liked.
Yeah, especially with the theme.
A helmet? Sure, but why not like his blaster or something, you know?
Yeah, and I understood what they did with the Mega Crate. That's great. They went with the Smash theme, and that's perfect, because especially since it's so relevant.
But this loot crate, it's good. It just, I don't see that heavy combat feeling to it.
Yeah,
I see references to it, but nothing screaming combat and battle.
Yeah. The one thing, I think the one that really kind of turned me off the whole battle thing was really Assassin's Creed. Like, when I look at Assassin's Creed, I don't see that as a battle type game. I see that as a stealth game.
Blade or something, you know?
Yeah, I seen that game as like, okay, nice choice. It does have a battle system, but it's a stealth game.
Why not a weapon?
Yeah. I mean, the coin, hey, that's fucking nice. I'm not saying it's a bad
Nice
thing.
coin. It is. It's just, why not a weapon?
Yeah, and it's the same thing, like, yeah, with the helmet. That's nice. It's a defensive.
It's not a weapon.
Yeah.
You-
The way I look at this is a one-up. Really, that's all I can see for it. The only thing that really references battle is the headband. Because that's a form of something to wear. And it doesn't have to be a reference to fucking Street Fighter. It could have been... They didn't even have to say Street Fighter. This could have been just a red headband, and it references multiple things. Not just Street Fighter, but it also references Rambo.
Just about anyone who wore a red headband, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been a better idea than just going with one. But, again, they're going with video game theme. I understand why they went that way.
It's just, with the video games, there was, you know, a different route that may have been... Because literally, that Halo one actually doesn't do that bad of a job of the combat feeling, actually.
Yeah.
It's a dude with a gun, or I think that's a gun.
It looks like a gun, but I'm thinking it's probably the plasma sword, or plasma blade, whatever it's called.
Hold it closer to the camera first.
It's... let me take it
Give
out.
it a focus.
It's gonna be really hard. I'm gonna get as close as I can.
I think that's the railgun, that's not the sword.
Well,
I think that's one of those sniper-like weapons, right?
I'm guessing. I don't play Halo enough to know or recognize what this is. And
I just know exactly what the sword looks like, and that's not the sword, that has to be.
I know what the sword looks like. I'm just saying the way it's designed, it looks like it's a melee weapon.
They kind of design all the weapons to look like the sword, but...
That's why I can't tell.
It's a design choice, but I won't question superior alien weapon designers. I mean, you want your guns to look like, so it's fine.
Well, see, I'm also wondering like if this is just like the only weapon you get for the character in every one of these pods. 'Cause you
I'm
got four of them.
assuming the Master Chiefs will probably get the battle rifle.
It's either that or I'm assuming the assault rifle or something like that that they have.
Well, yeah, it's the battle rifle, the assault rifle.
But
I doubt no assault and lasers though.
yeah, and I'm gonna tell you this thing is really fragile. Like the head doesn't feel like it's there. Like
Well,
I can
as
move
you
it.
said, it came pre-built. It looks like you can just dismantle it if you wanted.
Yeah, and to be honest, it is not the best item in this. Like it fits for the
Yeah.
theme.
It's
But-
the one that fits the best for theme, but overall not the best item.
Yeah, they could have chosen better. Really, I would have mind like instead of using battle blocks, actually just give us a figurine that's about the same size.
Yeah, because
You know.
Battle Blocks is just I think of that. I think more of children's Legos, you know.
Yeah, I mean, literally, it's on a Lego stand.
But is it like the proper Lego or those Mega Block type Legos where they're like slightly oversized?
You tell me because I don't have it.
Well, looks like a normal Lego, yeah.
Yeah, it's all it is, and it just has the Halo brand on it. But it fits on there. It's fine, but it's like this could have been better choiced. It's got articulation. That's nice, but it's like it's not even 2 inches tall.
Yeah, I would have kind of preferred a slightly larger figure,
Yeah.
you know? Like the Aliens figure, that was nice and tall.
Oh yeah.
Like-
But the only problem I had with that one is that its articulation sucked.
Well, it's because there was a reproduction of
Yeah.
the one from like the 70s.
Yeah, I know, and I remember just like taking it. I was like, I'm afraid to break this. I'm just gonna leave it alone. But yeah, by far the best items are the coin and the helmet, but they really
It
don't
doesn't
feel the
feel
theme.
like it fits theme
Yeah.
of the crate. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of get it with Mega Man. The Mega Man is like this is like a one up. It makes sense in a sense like that. With the coin, I don't know where they got the battle theme thought in there. And really, Assassin's Creed is not a battle game. It's a stealth game.
Yeah.
It's one of those ones. It was the odd one out. I mean, I understood because of relevance. All four of these games are somewhat relevant, although Street Fighter is actually kind of dying right now.
Oh, those Street Fighter fanboys that come at you now.
Fuck them. I'm gonna straight up say I'm not a fan of Street Fighter, and I will never be a fan of Street Fighter. I just never got into the games. I have some of the games. I have it, Street Fighter Alpha 3 on my Wii U. I'm not a fan. I have played Street Fighter 2. Multiple different variants of that same fucking game. Not a fan. I have played Street Fighter 4. Again, not a fan. It's just boring to me. It doesn't feel like a fighting game. And there's a point to all this because even like I hate going to reference Screw Attack to this, but they have done the death battles where it involved Mortal Kombat characters versus Street Fighter characters. And Street Fighter is 0-2. That's the sad thing. And I'm sorry, but that's because Street Fighter, though good, is still inferior.
I like the characters, but yeah.
It's an inferior game. I understand where Capcom's going with it, but it's just an inferior fighting game. And
At least a new anime, I'd watch it. But
yeah, it's an anime-driven game. It's like you have to like anime to really kind of like the character designs. But other than that, it's still inferior. It doesn't feel like a fighting game as much as it feels like a manga fighting game.
No, that's manga's like the Capcom versus type stuff.
Well, no, that's what it feels like to me, though. I know that it's just a fighting game to me, but it's also one of those fighting games that it doesn't appeal because it doesn't have what a fighter usually should have. These are the same problems that people tell me about friggin' Smash being not a true fighting game, and I'm going, okay, so if you compare Smash with Street Fighter, tell me what the differences are. Outside of it, that one's an arena, and this one is a side scroller.
But they're both side scrollers.
Yeah, but Smash is an arena battle, whereas Street Fighter isn't.
All the tournaments only allow Final Destination,
Yeah.
so it's I'd say it's all the same though.
Yeah,
There's no difference. It's just which do you prefer.
Yeah, and I've been told that Smash is the most inferior fighting game, and I'm going, no.
There's complex shit there.
There's a lot more than that, and especially now with the whole system they built. You can literally customize now.
It's all experience and knowing what to do and when to do it. So
yeah.
All of these are, proper tournament fighter games. It's just what do you prefer?
Yeah, and I know I'm gonna get hate for friggin' Street Fighter, but I don't really care. If you like Street Fighter, that's your prerogative. But I'm always gonna be more of a fan to Mortal Kombat, and I believe that's because Mortal Kombat feels like an actual fighting game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have no big preference one way or the other, but I'm not into that fighting genre as much. I love the character fighter genre though. That's like the Smash Bros. and the Sony one.
PlayStation All Stars.
Yeah. Like, just get all the named characters from each system
and just have them duke them out. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like I'm all for with the idea of what Blizzard's doing with Heroes of the Storm, because that feels like what PlayStation did with PlayStation All Stars. It's supposed to be like, take your favorite character from whatever franchise it is, if it's Blizzard, specifically Blizzard franchises, and play as him and have fun. It's not like original thought characters like League has.
A PlayStation All-Stars Smash Bros. Game like that with those characters. That'd be pretty good.
Oh yeah.
There's enough interesting characters with the different movesets.
Yeah.
It'd work out.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd probably be a bit more PlayStation All-Stars with all the guns, though.
Yeah, my only problem with what happened with PlayStation All-Stars, though, was its system was really awkward. Yeah, and it was very cheap. It was very unbalanced.
First attempt, though. First attempt-wise, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, no. And it's the same thing, like, even with Injustice, it wasn't a bad attempt at trying a new system. My problem with friggin' that one is that it was completely broken. You can pull off a friggin' 96% hit combo. It didn't matter. It just drained your fucking health in friggin' Injustice. But with All-Stars, that one, good idea, but it was still kind of broken because people can play as, I think it was Drake, and all he had to do was shoot, and suddenly he has 3 bars ready to do his super ultra mega death move.
Yeah, some of them, it was annoying is that they really should have copied Smash Bros. A bit more.
Yeah.
They didn't copy it enough was the issue with the PlayStation All-Stars.
Well, when it was advertised as All-Stars, I was thinking it was going to do that.
It needed the ring out, not the only kill with specials thing that it had.
Yeah.
It needed to be combat finishers, but it only had special finishers.
Oh yeah, and that was his downfall, and that's why it didn't last so long. It had potential.
Game, it's just lacked that.
There was a few other problems, like there's lack there of characters, there was a lack there of stages, and there was a lack there of gameplay choices. It's still solid. It was the first attempt. It was still a solid game, but it was bare bones and every single point.
Smash Bros. On the 64 only had, 10 characters?
10 to 12, I think. But then again, that's going back in the days of 64's capabilities.
The first game here.
Well, even Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter only had 8 or 10 characters at most. And that's because, A, they just started, and B, they were just starting to get popular. The problem with what happened with Street Fighter is that they kept adding more, so they get a new cartridge, and there you go. Or they get a new cabinet for arcade.
With a Capcom way of doing things.
Yeah, and what By the
Instead
time
of just
Midway,
making a new game, but just release a new version of the same game with the added extras.
and that's another reason why I kind of don't like Street Fighter 4. Right now, we're getting Arcade Edition. We're not getting Ultra, but Steam makes you think you get Ultra. um, it still feels like I'm like still a step behind. Every fucking time I want to play a new variant, I'm like, okay, there's a new one coming out 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, Capcom really does make me feel like I want to get the games at the end of the life cycle with them.
Yeah. It's not like Mega Man. This is another reason why I kind of don't like Capcom anymore. The bigger one is, of course, Mega Man. But it's just like they don't treat their other franchises like they treat Street Fighter. The Street Fighter has become their baby that they want to take care of all the time.
Because, see, they've been messing up Resident Evil the past few times.
Well, it's not just Resident Evil. There's Mega Man, Resident Evil, Devil May Cry has gotten it.
Devil May Cry I still count as... It may not have... It was decent, but it wasn't my Devil May Cry.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as it could have been.
It wasn't my Dante.
Yeah, and then there's the fourth one, which is Asura's Wrath. Like, Asura's Wrath, solid game. But then they fucked it up. They had a great franchise, great IP to work off of this. And then they decided to fuck it up. I don't know why they thought this was a good idea. They just did. And that's because it was during the time when especially like Mass Effect 3 did the same thing with its ending.
Mass Effect 3 kind of did it because of fan outrage.
Yeah, they tried to fix it. Whereas...
Asura's Wrath, they did it all you on purpose.
Yeah, they wanted DLC so they could make some more sales. And that one, I think that's why Asura's Wrath had more potential to be a great game, but they fucked it up. They just kind of destroyed it.
It was a great game, it's just the true ending DLCs what kind of kills it.
Yeah, it had great chances and they fucked it up. At the end, I haven't heard them making another plan to make another one.
I kind of hope they do, though. I like Asura's Wrath.
Oh yeah, Asura's Wrath is one of the greatest games I've ever seen in the last few years from Capcom.
And it was like, what? That was a new IP from them, too.
Yeah, they were planning to make it a franchise, and it just kind of, they shot themselves in the foot with it. They fucked themselves over is what happened. And they shouldn't have done that. They should have left it alone.
Well, I guess they can just keep their own character franchise going with their Capcom Versus, which probably will always sell well, just because of what it is.
Yeah. And I know people, we're kind of dragging on, but we have reasons that they all connect to this. It's the same thing, like, even, like, Ubisoft's really kind of trying to back up themselves right now.
It's my biggest issue with Ubisoft is they screw up so many times, but then they make so many things I want, though.
Oh, yeah.
I don't get that.
Yeah,
I like
that's
your
true.
Child of Light. I like your Valiant Hearts. I like your Rayman. I like your Assassin's Creed for the most part.
Well,
I love your Far Cry.
have you
I
heard
love your Tom Clancy.
Well, did you hear the news today about Unity as it is right now with the Season Pass?
What?
They've decided to actually cancel the Season Pass. But for those who bought like the Gold Edition or the Season Pass Edition, they basically said, you get whatever is already out. On top of it, we're going to give you a free game.
What game is that?
Of their choice. I'm guessing out of a list. But yeah,
probably last-gen games. Probably not even... I doubt Far Cry 4 or Rogue would be on that list, though.
Oh yeah, I'm doubting that, of course.
It's definitely going to be like Far Cry 3, maybe Black Flag.
But those are not bad. They're not bad choices. And it's like, all right, so they're trying to kind of say, we fucked up. We're sorry. Here. Outside of that, there's the crew. They're kind of, which is, I don't know why they're so scared with the crew whole thing.
I mean, honestly, that looks good.
Well, the
beta period looks good.
Well, right now they have it open. They just released it for open beta. And I'm still wondering, why are you scared for reviews to come out prior to the game's release. I don't understand that. Like,
It's marketing. It's probably, it'd be really bad if it's just the PR team they've hired. Because it could be the PR team, not the company even.
oh, it could be, yeah. But
I mean,
it just seems like they're just very scared right now of releasing anything.
well, Unity happened, and then the very minor glitches that happened with Far Cry 4.
Yeah, but I
But
don't.
Unity was the big one.
But yeah, you see, Unity is what scared the hell out of them.
It has to be, yeah.
And I hope that they kind of learn from that. Like, next time, maybe beta test it a bit, make sure there's none of that glitching shit happening before you release the damn thing. But I'm afraid they're never going to learn from this. And this is kind of the rule of thumb with most gaming companies anymore. I mean, you look at EA, they did that several times. And they still seem they haven't learned.
It's don't pre-order and don't buy it on release.
Yeah, well, specifically big name companies. Like
Ubisoft, like, this game will update, and it will be a stable, decent game at the end of it,
Yeah.
It's just pre-ordering it is what allows them to get away with it, though.
Yeah.
Stop pre-ordering, people.
The only time you want to actually pre-order is, like, so far out of all the big name companies, Warner Brothers and Capcom seem to be the only two that don't have those major fucking glitches.
No, but Capcom has other issues that we've already gone over.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's obvious. But again, these are the two major companies that don't seem to have the problems outside of the big three names, which is Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft.
Yeah, but Sony and Nintendo almost always release a good product on release.
Well, they
for the
take their
most
time too. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm going outside of this, and even Microsoft has that. They take their time with those games. But I'm looking at the third-party thing, where you have the major names of the third-party area, which is Capcom, and Capcom is pretty good with it. I mean, even for fighting games, they're really good at making sure it doesn't fuck up.
I mean,
You can even look at Blizzard. They take their time to make sure if it is fucked up, they fix it almost immediately. For those of you who don't know, Warlords of Draenor came out, and sure enough, there were like performance issues. There were some crashing.
there was issues there that had nothing to do with the game.
Yeah,
There
it was more or less
people being asked.
well, they got so many fucking people. If you were a person that played WoW back in the day and then just kind of quit because you were tired of whatever it was, like Cataclysm or Wrath, or didn't give a fuck about Mists, Worlds of Draenor actually kind of researched everything to over 10 million players from a previous at like 3.5 million. So it really kind of brought in that audience that they had back when Burning Crusade was out.
But don't worry, people. A lot of those people will drop it again fairly quickly.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they will.
If not, what do you have?
Well, I'm sure they will drop some. I know that Blizzard's coming out with another expansion to StarCraft 2, which
Yeah.
that's going to bring some players back. I know it's going to
Yeah.
keep Korea into it, but it's going to bring players back into it, and I know that they're coming out really soon. It's supposed to be like December 3rd or something like that. They're coming out with the multiplayer expansion for friggin' Hearthstone. It's just that they make sure they do it right. If they have a fuck up, they fix it almost immediately. And if it takes time, they'll say, hey, we're sorry. And especially with Warlords of Draenor, a lot of it was because people couldn't connect in. That was a whole server issue. Like, they literally couldn't come in. So what did they do? They said, we're going to add 5 days of game time to everybody that was played on this specific date, which was like November 14th. So if you played during launch, you got it. You can play. You got an extra 5 days of game time, which is actually rather nice. But they make sure they apologize and they say, "Hey, we fucked up."
Yeah,
Here.
there were the more considerate companies.
Well, it's the same thing. Nintendo's one of those companies. Sony's one of those companies. Even Microsoft, to a point, is one of those companies because they want to keep their freaking business.
I mean, what little of it they have left at this point.
Yeah, but they still have that point where if we fuck up here, we reimburse you. We're sorry. Even Square Enix has done that. You know, we go back to like Final Fantasy XIV when it first came out, not Realm Reborn. and they had to apologize and say, "We fucked up horribly. We are so sorry." And when Realm Reborn came out, I think they gave those players like a month of game time for free or something like that. I don't know how they rewarded them, but they had played the beta in order to do something like that. But still, they made sure that those players were reimbursed for their time. And Realm Reborn is a fantastic game now. It took it a couple extra years, but they fixed every goddamn problem they had. So you go into these things where we have these games for battle, and they're not for battle yet. Kinda they are. Like Assassin's Creed Unity, not. Obviously, it's one of the worst Assassin's Creed games at the moment.
But they're gonna fix it. You just shouldn't have bought it this early.
Yeah. I blame more Ubisoft on that though. Ubisoft should have taken the time with it. They seemed like they wanted to rush it.
Well, the old team got done, and then it looks like the game design team just kind of rushed the end part of the deal.
Yeah, it seemed like they rushed it way too fast. This game should have been like a
look at its time and say we're not done yet. That way, the game design team could have actually worked on.
Well, this one should have been like a spring release or a summer release, for that matter. It's a game that should have been released in the spring or summer. Give it the extra time it needed.
And released during a less crowded time.
Oh yeah.
It's too crowded a time.
Well, this is the games that I know that came out this month alone. You have WWE 2K15, the next-gen variant. That came on the 18th, along with GTA 5, along with, I think, Assassin's Creed Unity, along with Far Cry 4. You're getting like these big major names in there. I mean, given...
Ubisoft released 3 games this month, all of them AAA.
Yeah, and so far 2 of the 3 are like that, Then you have like other games that came out like later. You have Nintendo's friggin' line of games. You have the Pokemon games coming out, and you had Smash. And it's just...
Nintendo has a lot of different teams. I mean, yes, Ubisoft has like 5, 6, maybe even 10 different dev teams they can throw shit at. Like Montreal only does Assassin's Creed, but they threw Rogue at some other dev team of theirs.
And Rogue's actually turning out to be better, apparently.
That's because they just threw all the dev stuff from Assassin's Creed 4 at them and say, make another game.
Yeah.
They had the stable engine of Assassin's Creed 4 to build off of.
Yeah, it's interesting what happened with what happened over at Ubisoft. They should have taken their time. That's all the problem they had right there. They didn't take their time. They rushed it.
The 2 best releases this month were the games that technically didn't have a new game engine.
Yeah.
The only time they screwed everything up is the new game engine in Unity.
Yeah. And it's just... Outside of that, I mean, you got Halo, which I know that they released a game this month.
Which, for the first month, for the first week, you couldn't even play online.
Yeah.
Because matchmaking didn't work.
Yeah, see, there's so many things. And I mean, I know this month is like the month that usually releases like tons and upon tons of games.
But they're also getting all these tons of not so great launch times.
Yeah. I understand, like, this is the month, like, normally we'd see this month they would have Batman. And originally, Batman Arkham Knight was supposed to release this month.
I'm glad it got pushed back, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, are you really seriously trying to get this out this month? No, this is a bad time. You got way too many games and you're trying to do too much competition.
I mean, you have Assassin's Creed and Batman, which are fairly similar combat styles. Not, it feels similar. Controlling a bit different, but similar feeling.
Well, I mean, even with that, Warner Brothers kind of played it the smart way, too, especially with Shadows of Mordor. I mean...
Shadows of Mordor, man. Yeah.
Shadows of Mordor is the essentially same game as Batman. I mean, there's no difference between the two. But outside of one has killing, the other one doesn't as much. But the thing is that if you released them like back-to-back months, because didn't Shadows of Mordor came out in friggin' October?
Yeah, it came out like last month.
Yeah, if you had those back-to-back, it's like you're trying. They wouldn't have the time to make sure they tested both of those games. So having it pushed back, one of those ones to come out next year, I think it's in like July or something like that. It gives them time to make sure that they polish it up, make sure it's done right, and don't pull what Warner Brothers Montreal did with Origins. Because Origins was rushed.
It took them like a month to work out the bugs there.
Yeah, and that just shows you what happens when you rush a game to where it's fairly quality.
Yeah, you should not release a game with that kind of bugs. It really is. It's just bad PO.
Yeah. And I know that we're making this Loot Crate video more of a conversation.
We make a vlog, just so we headed it off with Loot Crate.
Yeah,
Loot Crate plus vlog. That's what you call the video.
Sure, let's go with that. But, yeah, we have all these problems, especially with new games. Ubisoft's taken a big hit with the Unity, and then there's also Far Cry 4.
Once they get that engine worked out, they're probably going to have a solid engine for the next Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah. And to be honest, I like when companies are being smart about it and just like, okay, we're going to release one game. Like, Nintendo released 2 different game franchises, but they had these things set apart. Like, Game Freak worked on Pokemon. They had whatever team they had working on for Smash.
The one guy who was driven insane working on Smash, and, yeah, Game Freak.
I mean, they have the ability to. Nintendo knows how to do this business very well. They've had a lot of practice.
Doing it at different parts of your company.
Yeah, well, they've had a lot of practice to do it. They've had, near 30 years of practice? This is not like, I mean, Ubisoft's only been out since, 64 era?
Maybe. Like,
I don't know if they made it. I don't think they've ever made a SNES game. I know Blizzard made one, and that was Blackthorn. But I mean, that you have to think about this. This is like early '90s. Nintendo was like the king supreme, along with Sega. They knew how to release their games in a timely fashion, and it was just those two companies. Now we have like Sony and Microsoft in the mix. We don't have Sega anymore. Well, but there's still one that knows how to.
Sega, but Sega, like, I mean, they bought Relic when THQ went under, so...
Which is the smartest fucking thing they ever done. I mean, you keep that RTS alone. You don't want to change anything. But...
It's
But you...
somewhat
but that, like, Nintendo still has that experience over Sony. And Sony's doing okay, but they're getting hurt with that third-party support as much. Like, right now, especially with the PS4, as much as it's good... There's still not many games for it yet, and
yeah, but they'll still give it time. It'll be
it's a thing that you invest in. I understand that, but here's the problem with it. Then this is because they announced it, whether it's on E3 or later on. Metal Gear Solid 5 to be specific, was supposed to be like we all thought was okay. It's gonna be exclusive to the PlayStation 4 for about a year. Then it's gonna probably spread out to the Xbox One. We kind of thought that. And then they come out and just say, yeah, it's on PC as well.
It's like, yeah, I know which one I'm getting.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so I can get myself and spend another $500 for a PS4, making sure I get everything else, get an extra controller, maybe a game with it, and just wait for freaking Metal Gear Solid 5 to come out. Or I can save myself a lot of money and just wait for it to come out and use it on my PC. It's stuff like that. It's like, okay, now you're shooting yourself in the foot by doing so. If they left it exclusive, it would have been a much better idea.
I mean, the real thing there is, the Metal Gear Solid team is its own third party. They don't tie to anyone.
True. Kojima.
They just prefer Sony.
Yeah. And it would have been a better idea for marketing-wise to do it, but I understand where they're thinking about business-wise.
Yeah, the team developing the game is like, we need all the money, so we put it everywhere.
Yeah, and
except for the Wii U, because that doesn't get it.
But still, I mean, I like the PS4. I own it. I know it has a new feature called Share Play in it, which is very nice. Especially since, let's say, if I have a game, but Keo, he has a PS4, but he doesn't have that game, I can invite him into a party, have him play the game that I can just let him watch. I just hand him the controller and he can play it online without ever needing to own it. That's very nice. The fact that it can do streaming is very nice. But it still doesn't have the games it should have right now. My biggest problem with the PS4...
The Wii U has been out a year longer, though.
Well, yeah, but even with that, it's still like... They could have taken like the PS3 and just put it in there. The one thing I always thought that really held the PS4 back is that it doesn't have the games for it because it's not going to have PS3 capabilities. I understand it's a hardware issue. I understand maybe it's a software issue as well.
That's the same issue on the Xbox One as well. It can't play 360 games.
But there was more issues with the Xbox One than just that.
Yeah, it shot itself in the foot.
Yeah, it killed itself. I'm talking about just specifically PS4. And it needs those other games, and I'm sure it will eventually have it. But it's taking way too long. I'm thinking that they won't have this for at least 2 years. Because at the rate it's going, it's trying to stockpile the game, but it's doing what the Vita did. And the Vita doesn't have games for it right now. And also, Vita's been in the news today. They lost their suit in court.
Wait, they had a lawsuit going on?
Yeah.
With who?
With the Vita. It was specifically the Vita, where it was false advertisement. If you bought a Vita during like June 2012 or before then, you essentially get free swag right now. Apparently, because the Vita used to have the capabilities of remote play for the PS3. Unfortunately, PS3 hardly had any games to do so, and it really, really, really sucked. So there was issues there where people went in a suit against Sony about the PS Vita, and so right now you can get like $25 credit thing, or you get like something about $50 worth of games or something. I don't know what's right now. But you had to have the freaking system back in June 2012. But that's beside the point. It's just that right now the Vita is still lackluster. It's not selling anything because there's no games for it, essentially.
But that's what happened to the PSP as well.
I disagree. Mainly, the only reason I disagree with the PSP itself is because there was more uses with the PSP than the Vita is. There's fine differences. Like, one, the PS Vita can't necessarily play videos via, like, a disc or a little cartridge. Like, the Vita uses, like a SD card kind of thing. There's no movies for that. It's just games. The second thing is that you can't watch movies on the damn thing unless you have the file that you instinctively put into the game system. And you have to do that via online. You can't just connect it with a USB.
Wait, it doesn't have Netflix built in?
I think it does. You have to download the app to make it work, though. But it's one of the few things where it's still like they tried too hard to make it good and make it like a mobile phone. Because it works with Skype.
Mean Sony Xperia Play?
That's what it feels like. Because the way they designed it, they had a Wi-Fi thing where you can spend an extra $50 and you can get AT&T to work with it for 3G. Which, by the way, you don't fucking need.
And 3G speeds is just... You can't game on that.
Well, no. It wasn't that. It was back when it came out. It only had 3G. They didn't have 4G as an option. Because it was AT&T. AT&T isn't the greatest service, by the way.
No.
But it was that, and you had to pay for that every fucking month, by the way. So you end up investing more into this. It was really horrible. It was a very bad idea, and on top of that, the games list right now is really, really low. Like, the only thing that's really kind of good on that system
The bigger issue is this massive stockpile of Japanese-only releases too. You know, like
Japan's
there's a
getting all
lot
the
of
good
games
shit.
I noticed that were like Japanese only that look kind of interesting that I don't feel like importing.
Yeah, I don't know why. I know this. Like Sony really saves everything for freaking Japan.
It's because
It's been a rule of thing that they've done.
kind of dominates the handheld market. You know,
Well, yeah.
I mean they don't have the big screen TVs. This is America. We have a room dedicated to our TV.
To be honest, the only thing I ever use my Vita for is if I kind of want to play my PS4, but I don't want to unhook the fucking system and bring it into my room to do so. I could use it.
Yeah.
The problem with it though is that trying to do the controls on it is fucking difficult as shit. Specifically the R2 and L2 buttons. It's the touchscreen on the back, and you have to hit it specific. It's a little annoying. Outside of that, it's not that bad. But yeah, the Vita is just... It's lackluster, and they're trying to sell it, but they can't. They just don't have the games that it needs.
That and Nintendo, I just feel, has this, better brand recognition for handhelds.
Oh yeah. I know Sega tried to do it and failed miserably. With the
It's
Nomad
at this
and Game
point
Gear.
where it's almost, you can't compete with Nintendo in the handheld market.
Yeah.
The only competition, though, is literally phone games.
Yeah,
And that's because everyone has a phone.
yeah, and that ain't gonna last long. And to those people that are saying the mobile phone market is gonna beat all portable gaming, and I'm going like, yeah, no.
There was good games, but there was no Nintendo brand games.
Yeah. It just ain't gonna happen.
There isn't some. Well, there might be Sony brand games. I don't. But I know the Square Enix brand and Capcom brand.
Yeah.
Everyone but the major players seem to have brand name games out on the mobile market.
Yeah, but those ones all have microtransactions as well.
That's terrible. I'd rather just feels like $5. Just let me play the game.
Yeah. Another problem I have with Sony's marketing, and this is more to the rent, like PlayStation Now thing that they have for PlayStation 4. I understand why it's there. And it's for like to play those PlayStation 3 games on there. That's a great idea in theory, but the problem I have with it is that it's only a rental service. It's not a play forever kind of thing.
What about the PS3 games that I already own? I don't want to pay again.
Yeah, it's
I
redundant.
Hope they do. I hope they kind of do a thing where you can just maybe put the PS3 disc into it and just says you have this and just unlocks it for you.
Yeah, but the thing is that they don't make money. It's what the PlayStation Now thing is basically to stream the content like going on your stream, and that way you can do it. And it's a rental game.
For free, but maybe like, okay, you have this, pay $1 or $2 and you have it. They don't have to do it for free.
Yeah, but the thing is that you still would only be able to rent it. You wouldn't be able to own it, according to the system.
I'm talking about kind of like the like you own it, but kind of just have a pool of owned games digitally.
Yeah,
like that.
I understand what you're saying. It's just that the PS4, since we can't play PlayStation 3 games, is technically on it. I don't see the point of PlayStation Now.
Well,
it's one of those weird things.
Go pick up a used PS3. You can get those for like what, $100?
Yeah, and I already have a PS3, so I don't have to worry about that.
Just go pick one of those up for like $100, and you're good.
Oh yeah, it's just like the PlayStation Now. Good idea. In theory, it's a good idea, especially with the streaming thing. So you don't have to get a capture card or any of that shit. I understand the problem of that. But my biggest problem with it is if it has the capabilities of playing a PlayStation 3 game, why can I not just put the goddamn disc in it and play it that way?
Because PlayStation Now isn't actually hell, Sony TVs have PlayStation Now built into it. You don't even need a game console.
Yeah, I know.
Like, it's a streaming service for the game. It's not even an actual... It's like, what was that one thing? OnLive,
Yeah,
before it failed.
yeah. It was just like a why
It's
does this
basically
exist?
OnLive.
Yeah, but it's like why does this exist and why is it such a pain in the ass? I mean,
It
in theory,
exists
it's a good
because Sony
idea.
needs to kill the already dead OnLive.
Well, in theory, it's a good idea. I mean, I like the idea behind it. But if I'm able to play and stream these games on a PS4 that's a PlayStation 3 game digitally, why can I not buy the game digitally?
I'm thinking that comes later.
I know. I know it's all a business thing, but
Sony's,
still,
I
it
think,
bothers
actually
me.
playing the long game on this. Give them like 2 years, we'll see this all worked out.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, this game cycle is probably going to be another 10 years anyway. What's 2 years in a 10-year game cycle?
I don't know if the PlayStation 4 is going to last that long.
I don't know. That's what the X basically it was like. What 9-8 years on the PS3, Xbox 360.
360 had a 10-year plan. It didn't last that long.
No, but it was close.
It was close, but they kind of
They
forced
lasted
it to
way
last that long.
longer than that game console generation had any business lasting.
Well, you see, we have 2006 was the release of the PS3 and the Wii, and they didn't last that long. They lasted about 7 years.
That's still much longer than it should have been.
Yeah.
I mean, the PCs just outdid them by so much at that point. I mean, we almost would think you need to see a game console every 3 years at minimum.
Well,
I
the
mean, that's-
average I know the average length of a game system is about 6 years. That's outside of portables. When it comes to portables, it's the average lifespan for a Game Boy now, or DS as it is about 2 to 3 years. But that's
even
because
like
the new one comes
major
out.
Consoles, the hardware is
It's
so
always updating,
changing
yeah,
so
I
quickly that in 3 years you're using something that won't even run a proper PC game.
Yeah, and this is why I kind of had a problem with. This is the only concern I kind of had with the Steam box, is that it's gonna run into that problem.
It has to be properly upgradable.
Yeah, and that's
Which-
what I mean. In theory, the Steam box was a great idea, but I'm
Which is
thinking,
why I intend just to build my own so I can upgrade it if I need.
oh yeah, but I mean, it was like the one thing I was like, okay, Steam box, good idea in theory, but how is the upgrading process gonna be? You know?
I'm just gonna build another full tower and make it into a Steam box. You know? Just
Well,
this-
yeah, and to be honest, you don't even need a Steam box if you have a
I don't
decent.
need a Steam box. I have a PC right fucking here.
Yeah, I mean that is a Steam box in its own right.
It's also a Windows box that runs Steam.
Well, it's also you can put any goddamn operating system outside of fucking Mac, but then we don't give a fuck about Mac.
Hell,
But-
yeah, Linux has better game support than Mac, though.
I still don't like Linux. I'm never gonna try that system. I'm sorry, but fuck Linux. um, as far as all this is concerned, though, we're talking about speculations of the future and what they should do, and we know they're never gonna do that. Like, I don't expect Nintendo to drop their fucking system after 3 years.
No, they won't, and that's why, being a PC gamer, I'm going to have a nice system that's going to outperform everything
Oh
in the
yeah,
next 3 years. Hell, technically, even now, my system's still better than what they're using.
yeah.
I mean, everything they're using isn't top-of-the-line, high-tier stuff. It's all mid-range stuff for right now.
It's
I mean,
It's amazing
dedicated
that-
hardware and software, but it's not as powerful as a proper PC build.
well, I seen this like I went to Imgur or Imgur, whatever you want to call the goddamn website. I went there like about a week ago, and I found this picture where it showed like the 1990s, and where you had SNES, Sega Genesis, and they're saying we have the best freaking consoles ever. What do you have? You have a PC, ha ha ha, because PC wasn't that great at the time. And now
Well,
we're at
hell-
an age now where PC is just so far advanced over any console.
That and like the one benefit of having a fucking console is gone. The benefit of it just working because it's a console and it just fucking works.
Yeah.
That's gone now. Well, you don't get that anymore. You get your day one patch and pray it works.
Yeah.
You,
It's really horrible that that's the standard today. It's not just consoles. It's gone to video games itself. I mean, you look at especially Unity is the biggest example of current relevance. People are not playtesting their games. I mean, this has happened before. This isn't the first time that we had a game be so bad that it didn't work properly on day one.
and even and hell, for all we know, they're playtesting it on a PC that has the magic hardware that just seems to work.
Well,
Because
yeah,
that's
but
possible.
but here's the thing. Especially with Unity, the most of the problems came from the PC port.
Yeah.
So what they're doing is kind of the right thing to do is work with the PC first. Because that's the bigger one. There's performance issues. There's graphical issues. There's so many problems with it that it's almost unplayable.
And the hell, a lot of these games are releasing without day one SLI support.
Yeah.
So basically, the whole benefit of owning more than one graphics card is thrown out the window for like the first week of owning the game.
Yeah, it's horrible. And to imagine like games that are being play tested way before they come out, like Shadows of Mordor, fantastic. I don't think there was hardly any problems with it when it came out on day one.
I don't think I came across any bugs playing through it.
They took time to fix it. They
Like,
made sure it was
they
done
know a game
right the
studio
first
that
time.
has proven themselves worthy of a pre-order, you know?
Well, yeah, Warner Brothers, they make sure, outside of the one time, which was Arkham Origins, they have not fucked up any of their games.
And that's the one time they pawned off the Batman franchise to a different studio.
Well, I think because that was because Rocksteady was working on a different game.
Yeah, they were busy working on something else.
Yeah.
But then you have Ubisoft over here throwing two AAA games at the same dev team, Far Cry 4 and Unity, both Ubisoft Montreal.
Yeah, you're
Like-
putting too much pressure on them and you're putting too much work. I mean, Capcom ran into this problem before. We know that. We know that. I'm sure Konami has done that. I'm sure.
It happens. It's just Ubisoft's franchises are just too big, I would say,
Yeah.
to be allowed for a studio to, divide its attention like that.
Oh yeah, and that's why I kind of like when I look at specific companies. I know I'm going back to Blizzard here, but you kind of have to admire Blizzard how they do it because they work on one expansion at a time, and they kind of just like okay, especially with Warlords, they worked on that and made sure it was done right for the most part. They only had a problem with their servers, and that was it. Outside of maybe a couple glitches with quests, whereas they announce like other expansions, but they're gonna take their time with them. Like I don't think they have hardly anything outside of the plot for the next StarCraft 2 expansion. They already have like this is a multiplayer expansion for Hearthstone. They don't have anything planned for friggin' Diablo 3 right at the moment. I'm sure they're gonna have another expansion to it, but they haven't planned anything for that. And they're working on Heroes of the Storm in the background. That's it. They kind of have themselves divided, making sure they're doing right on every single port. And this is the same thing with Warner Brothers. It's the same thing. Even Capcom's kind of learned from that mistake before, because I think they had problems with one of their fighting games. I believe it was actually Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Marvel vs. Capcom 3, the game they keep releasing now.
Actually,
I think they're done releasing it, don't they?
they finished that a long time ago. They had some problems with the first variant, and then when they made Ultimate, it fixed every goddamn issue they had. But still, they knew what they were doing. Ubisoft kind of pulled out way too many games like really quick. I understand E3 they had a hell of an E3, but I was kind of afraid that that's what was going to happen, is that they have way too many games coming out way too soon. And they should have been just like, We're gonna have these released at a timely fashion. We're not gonna have them all come out at one time. That's what they should have done. They didn't do that. They went the opposite way. Um, and it shows. It shows how bad the quality is. You don't have quality product anymore. And it's very hard to trust your product for the next set of games.
It's not the big thing here is it's one team, you know, it's just the game dev team. The old team and the story team do excellent jobs there.
Yeah, but it's not their fault. They're not the ones that are technically making the game. They're just making the story and the art. That's it. They're not making what the game devs are supposed to do. They're the ones that make it happen.
The engine team and all that, because everyone just divided into teams. It's kind of really lets down, like when like a third of the team working on it is what's actually screwing it up.
Because they don't know what the
beautiful games and it's well written. It's just
it happens. And that's why I kind of like I go back to saying like Nintendo knows what they're doing. I even know that Sony knows what they're doing. Microsoft knows what they're doing to a point. It's just that other people need to learn that you can't release these mini games so frequently. It's nice, you're trying to capitalize on marketing, you're trying to capitalize on getting all that money back, but there's a point where you want quality over quantity. Quantity is nice, but quality makes you have to sales.
Yeah. Long-term sales, too.
Yeah.
Because they'll come back for the next game.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that probably won't touch Assassin's Creed after this whole Unity thing.
Yeah. Unity probably just really messed up that franchise's sales for a while. And it's the same thing like with Capcom. I mean, they had a promise. We're going back to freaking Asura's Wrath. Had promise. Was a solid game. And then they fucked it up with DLC. It was just like they had potential. They could have made their new franchise very fan-based out there. They would have had a great franchise to work off of and continued on to Asura's Wrath 2 or a sub-game to it. You know, it would have worked. And they fucked it up by shooting themselves in the foot. It's the same problem. You can't just throw out more shit because it's good. You gotta make sure it's done right the first time before you continue on. It's just But alas, I think we've gone enough because it's about an hour and a half of recording here.
It's what, 10 minutes of Loot Crate and...
Oh no, I think we got a half hour of Loot Crate and we went to vlog stats somehow. Again, fans, I'm sorry. We just kind of got over to that point.
Apparently we just need to actually start a vlog so this doesn't happen during our videos.
Well, I can't help it. The news, especially in November, news just pops out for video games like crazy.
To be honest, Loot Crate and vlog is fine. I mean, what else is going to spark a conversation?
Yeah. But anyway, people, I'm sorry that it's going to be an hour and a half for a Loot Crate video.
And by the time you hear that apology, you'll already be an hour and a half in.
Yeah. I probably will post something in the description, though. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed our BSing. Also, hope you enjoyed, and if you did get the Loot Crate, congratulations. It is a very good service. Would I say this is better than last month's? No. Last month was still kind of superior.
Yeah.
This one's pretty fucking close, though. It had some really good quality product. But it is just a little lower. The Fear Crate was pretty good. So, anyways, as far as next month's crate, it's right now first come, first serve between me and Kyo. Whoever gets it first, I guess we do the video that way from now on.
Yeah.
Because at first we used to get it at the same time, and then suddenly they decided to go different times.
Well, I mean, I'm worried because, like, you know, the release date is you get it between the 20th and the 25th.
Yeah.
But the 25th is Christmas. And
Well,
the 24th is Christmas Eve. And both
yeah,
of those are considered holidays.
I'm sure that they are planning to make sure that they release, like, send it on the 18th to kind of make sure it gets to people before Christmas.
I hope Loot Crate, you know, sends it early for that one.
Yeah, I'm sure that's how it's going to work. But I know it's supposed to be a big crate. That's all I know. I guess they're planning to reveal it next weekend or something like that. It's at least next week that they reveal it, and it's supposed to be big. That's all I know.
Everyone gets a Mega Crate.
That would be awesome, but that would cost them money.
They'd go bankrupt, but...
That'd be a great idea, but damn. They only have like about $60 worth of stuff. Because they couldn't do that.
Yeah, because I mean, it's all... You know, the more people that subscribe, the better the crates can be.
Yeah. Anyway, people, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm sorry again for being very long. And we will see you later.